This is the Rapid Dry Towel, and they advertise all over Instagram, promising drying your car in as little as 90 seconds. So we're gonna go ahead and put that to the test today and compare this thing to some of my other favorite drying towels and see really just where this thing lands. So we're gonna go ahead and pop this thing open, and like I said, we're gonna compare it to some of my other favorites. But right off the bat, guys, I wanna tell you that when I first saw this thing and I saw the marketing, the advertisements, I thought to myself, not a chance. But I have been using these. I actually got 2 of these things. And I've been shocked and pleasantly surprised with the performance of this towel. So let me get this one out of the bag and let me explain to you guys why I was like, there's no chance that this is actually gonna dry a whole car, not have to be wrung out, and actually absorb all that water that's needed. And the reason for that really is, if you look closely, I mean, it looks like a standard microfiber towel that you would use for all your other purposes, right? Like a really low pile, microfiber towel. From my experience with that, doesn't hold a ton of water, but I will tell you guys, again, this thing has surprised me. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the specs of this thing. Size-wise, I have some notes on my hand here, guys. 59 by 30 inches, which is a huge towel, right? Really, really big, really soft. Not like a plush towel, obviously, but it is very, very soft. Now, it does come with a tag on it with some care instructions and things like that. Let's go ahead and pull that off. It does rip off very, very nicely. It leaves a little bit there, but it's very, very soft. I actually did reach out to the company about that to get some more information about these towels. And they were just saying that, yeah, US regulation was stating that they need to do that. This company is actually out of New Zealand. Now, they don't list the blend on these, and that's an important factor that I've always found with drying towels and towels in general. Usually it's a blend of polyester and polyamide, 80-20, 70-30, something like that. The higher amount of polyamide in it, typically the softer or less chance of scratching your paint is. They do not list anything, and again, I reached out to them and I asked, what's the blend of this towel? And they said, well, we actually have a proprietary blend that we can't speak on because we don't want anybody else trying to copy our towel. This is actually brand new microfiber technology, guys. Every other drying towel that I've worked with or that I use that I absolutely love is just kind of your standard microfiber. A twist loop is my favorite kind, which is this here. Let me go ahead and show you. Twist loop, where you have all these little fibers that come off and they're kind of like twisted together. These hold a lot of water and they're fantastic. But with this one, they actually said that they went to a bunch of different factories. No one can create the idea that the owner had in his head. And finally, after years and years, they found a factory that could do it. This is actually, I think they had to make new tooling and everything for the machines. And what it is kind of, it's a little confusing to me, but it's kind of a reverse technology of a twist loop. It's made so that all the water gets absorbed into the inner structure of the towel, leaving the outer surface drier so that you can continue to work. Now, the Rapid Dry Towel retails for $44.95. You can actually get it a little bit cheaper if you bundle it. You can get a 2-pack or whatever. But they are currently running a end of the year sale, so I don't know when that's gonna stop. I just looked at their website, but it's 20% off. So this brings it down to, that's $9 off, so 36 bucks-ish, something like that. Now, with that said, guys, let's go ahead and compare it to some of my favorites. Again, I know this might be a little bit of a long video. I really wanna go into depth on this thing because it's so different than all the other drying towels that I've used. So I will have everything time coded down in the bottom here for you guys, so you can just go down there and skip ahead if you need to. Okay, now let's go ahead and talk about the competition, right? I have 3 of my absolutely favorite drying towels up here. Number 1, the Dreadnought from Autofiber. This is the Dreadnought XL. Fantastic towel. This is a twist loop towel, right, like we talked about. 75-25 polyester polyamide blend. The GSM on this one, I believe, is 1100, and it's basically just 2 pieces of 550 sewn together. So as you can see here, it's actually separate, and I'm able to pull it apart, but that's essentially what it is. It's 2 pieces sewn together. This thing retails for $29.95, and it is 20 by 40 is what it is. So it's nice and long and narrow, so you can actually, again, toss it over the hood, toss it over your roof, pull and dry all in one pass. Next up, we have the Gauntlet from the Rag Company. This one's an interesting towel, and I absolutely love it. So this one, you get a blend of, let me try and get this to focus for you. So you get the twist loop there and then a plush right next to it. And why I like that is because it does absorb a ton of water, but then you have the plush to kind of just softly lift up the residual. Fantastic towel. I absolutely love this thing. Now this thing is 30 by 36, and this one retails for $28.95. 70-30 blend. So again, a little bit higher polyamide on this one than compared to the Dreadnought. Now the next one we've got here, guys, is actually my favorite go-to drying towel because I'm able to get so much work done with it, especially when I'm doing larger SUVs and things like that. This thing's phenomenal. I'm gonna have to actually zoom you guys out a little bit to be able to see this one. And this, again, is from Auto Fiber. Basically the exact same thing as the Dreadnought XL, just absolutely giant. This is called the Meaganought. This was introduced not last year at SEMA, but the year before. And they kind of made it as a spoof, as a table covering. And everyone was like, hey man, I actually want that thing. And I absolutely love this towel. So again, 75-25 blend, 1100 GSM, for weight per square meter. Yeah, so same structure as the Dreadnought, except this one is 69 inches by 42 inches. So just absolutely massive. You're able to get a ton of work done. The downfall of this thing, it is, because it's so big, it is a little bit heavy. And then a lot of people are like, well, it's so cumbersome that, you know, I don't want it to drag on the floor while I'm drying a panel. And that's a fair argument, but it is pretty easy to just fold in half, keep one side pinned up, and then work your way across the bottom that way. So you get used to the size. It's not really that big of an issue. Okay, guys, so now I want to compare these things side by side and see exactly how much water they hold in comparison to their original weight. So I'm going to weigh all these out, get a baseline for the weight, and then I have my car over here, wash it and then rinse it off and then dry it with each of these, see how much I'm able to get done, all that kind of good stuff, and go from there and see if this new rapid dry towel technology is as good as kind of the old school, well, not even old school, these are still newer technology as well, but a twist loop drying towel. Starting off with number one is the Dreadnought. So we're at 0, go ahead and toss it into the bucket, okay? 560 grams. All right, next up, we're gonna go to the Gauntlet from the Rag Company. Here's the towel. I'm gonna go ahead and drop it in the bucket again and let it stabilize. 624 grams. There we go. Now we've got the Meaganought. This thing's heavy, guys. So let me go ahead and stuff this thing into the bucket because it's so big. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Oh man, I wish, anyways. 1 kilogram, 946 grams. And last but not least, guys, we're going on to the new Rapid Dry drying towel. And again, this thing is huge as well. Not as big as the Meaganought was, but about twice the size as the other ones. So let's go ahead and see. And again, I'm telling you, it's lightweight. 502 grams. So I believe that was the lightest of the bunch. All right, guys, now, again, my car is here. Disregard the mess. I apologize. I've been doing a bunch of stuff. But I'm going to pull this thing out, wash it, rinse it off, get it all just ready to be dried. And then I'm going to take each of those towels, dry the vehicle down, see how much water that thing's really holding, weigh it out again, and then move on to the next one. Rinse the whole car down again and do it over and over till we can see what the percentage of water is actually holding in that towel, how much weight is added on. So let's do it. Okay guys, so the car is all washed down now. Now I want to be perfectly honest with you. Like I said, they advertise drying your car in as little as 90 seconds. That's going to be subjective depending on what car you're doing, right? This Porsche Cayman is going to dry off a lot faster because it's small versus the Ram Rebel behind me. So also in their advertising, they do work on a bunch of Porsches, which I absolutely love. I'm a big Porsche guy as well myself. So 90 seconds, let's just assume that's not a small car. And that's why we're doing this one over and over with the different towel. Additionally, guys, this car is ceramic coated using Geon Mo's Evo. So let me go ahead and show you the water behavior, because this also will help it dry because the water's not going to be sticking to the panel. So as you can see here, You can see the water behavior not sticking to the panel at all. And when I stop it, you see it all just runs right off, right? So same thing here again on a lower panel. That one panel was pretty, there you go, just falls right off. So again, there's not as much water on this vehicle as it would have if it wasn't ceramic coated. But I'm gonna do a lightness like so over the whole thing so that we're gonna get the most amount of water on it as we possibly can. But look at, I mean, Geonmo's is fantastic, guys. Look at those tiny, tiny beads as well as the large beads. I mean, look at that thing, just sliding off, leaving that panel completely dry behind it. So we're gonna do that really quickly, put as much water on it as we can. I'll do this exact same thing for all the towels so that we can get as true of representation as we possibly can with this sort of anecdotal experiment. Okay, so here we are, guys. Towel number one is going to be the Dreadnought XL from Autofiber, 20 by 40. I have a stopwatch feature on my watch, so here we go. I'm gonna turn it on and get to work. I'm gonna try and dry as fast as I can. Start on the roof, go on the side panels, exactly the same for all of them. Here we go. And this thing does a absolutely phenomenal job. That whole panel is completely dry. So is that roof, hood, sorry. We are adding a bunch of water now though, as it is absorbing. But again, you gotta remember the main goal here is to get the bulk of the water off so that you're not leaving any water spots behind. And then you can go in with your either like, you know, quick detail spray or sort of a last step protection spray and get everything done that way. So top sections are all done. Working down the side panels now. Again, I'm not expecting 100% here. I'm gonna move as fast as I can, just absorb as much water as I can. So we are leaving some streaking behind, but again, not bad. The majority of the water is definitely coming up. Very easy to work with this size of towel. Again, this one's 20 by 40. Okay, we're almost done. Got to get this back section here and then a little bit more on this rear quarter. And then we will call it mirrors, and done. So let me stop this. I was at, wow, 1 minute or just over a minute, 1 minute and 2 seconds or something like that. So 1 minute and 2 seconds. I'm gonna go ahead and get this on the scale and then we'll come back and revisit this and see how it looks. But still dry, not dripping. Right? Not dripping at all. Let's go get it on the scale. All right, guys, bucket is on. It's teared down to 0 grams. Here's the wet towel. Let's go ahead and drop it in. Make sure it's not resting on anything so we get a nice clean, there we go, accurate representation. 1408. So would that absorb 1,900 grams or so of water? So water weight, so fantastic. We're not dripping. Anything more, we're gonna be leaving more and more streaks. Let me go ahead and show you the car. All right, guys, so here's the car. As you can see, like those first wipes, that panel is absolutely perfect. We come down the sides, it's looking really, really good. All this stuff is what I was talking about. That's why I'm not going 100% because, yeah, that's gonna take more time to get out. This car holds a lot of water in those positions, in those spots. Now, we did that whole side, came down, and then came back up this side. And as you can see on this side, we did leave some streaks behind. Again, not a big issue. We'll easily be able to go in there and clean that up with a little quick detailer. Same thing with the hood. That side's pretty much perfect. This side, it's got a couple streaks. And then when we go down the sides, again, guys, that's my fault. Not a big deal though. A couple drips there from that, but we can't hold that against it. A couple of little streaks here and here. Yes. Streaks across the back here as well, but not a lot. Again, I'm very, very happy with those results. Again, under a minute, and there we are. Okay, so now it's time for towel number 2, the Gauntlet from the Rag Company. Again, I love this thing, super soft. I really like it as I usually will start with something like that and then use this as a final because it'll, you know, absorb all those streaks. But let's do the exact same test. I'm gonna load up the car again with the same amount of water as much as I can, and then we'll dry it. All right, it's all wet now. Now I'm just gonna do that light kind of dusting of it to get as much on there as I can. All right, guys, so exact same process, right? We're gonna get the snap watch going again here, and here we, oh, it didn't start. Reset, okay, ready? And here we go. Again, and I wanna be honest too with you guys, none of these towels have been washed. These are straight out of the package, just so we can get, you know, you can understand exactly where we're at with these things. I would say this is leaving a little bit more of a haze of water, like just a little bit of moisture on there. Not bad at all. Still doing a fantastic job. This side is much drier still. I feel like I can get more work done right now. It may not be absorbing as much, but I feel like I can keep working longer, at least right now, with this towel versus the other one. So there's all of our surfaces there. I'm gonna start going down the sides, flipping the towel to the drier side now. Okay. Yeah, this thing's doing a phenomenal job too, guys. Like, no complaints at all. Still drying all the panels. Doing a very good job. Little bits of streaking from moisture, but not bad at all. If I had to say, man, which one is doing a better job between the last two, they're different. This one seems to want to hold more water, but it doesn't seem to leave it as streakless, especially in the beginning. You know, towards the end, they're about the same, but is that everything? That's everything. That was 1 minute and 30 seconds, so still under 90 seconds. Really, that's gonna be my fault. This had no issue absorbing that water. It was just, I apparently work slower. So let's go ahead and weigh this thing out. All right, guys, same story here. I just fired it on. There you go, 0 grams with the bucket on it. Take the towel, drop it in. I don't remember what the original weights were, but I'll leave a chart up above. So 1,400 grams. Man, I already forgot what the last one was, but I think it was pretty close to that. So 1,400 grams now of water. Let's go ahead and look at the car. So as I stated, I felt like it was leaving more water behind even right off the bat. So if you look at this is the first panel that we wiped. You can see some streaking here. Not a lot, but definitely some. I'll come around the other side. On the hood, see if you, there you go. You can see that. It's more so that side, but definitely some streaking. The fender, quite a bit of streaking. So it didn't absorb, it doesn't seem to want to pick up as much water. And I don't know if that that weight is going to kind of explain that or not yet. But it does leave you feel like you can get more done with it at the same time. But as the more saturated it's going to get, it's going to do this as well. So yeah, kind of just light streaks. Man, this is not picking it up, but they are there. There you go. You can see the drips there. Not bad, but still there. On the hood as well. So overall, fantastic job. Would I say, I feel like the Dreadnought absorbs more water faster versus the Gauntlet absorbs slower, leaves a good finish, not as good, but you feel like you can get more done. All right, guys, now we're gonna move on to towel number 3. I'm gonna go ahead and rinse this thing off again, get the same amount of water on there, and we're moving on to the Meaganought from Autofiber. Again, my favorite personally up until this point for sure. All right, guys, we got the same amount of water on here. Sorry, I want this to lighten up. There we go. We've got the Meaganought here. I'm gonna go ahead and start the clock, and here we go. So this is why I love this one, guys. Watch this. All the way over, start pulling on this side, boom. Run over to the other side, pull this side, boom. Roof and front windshield is dry. Move over here, hit the whole hood, boom, dry. Go to the back end, drape it across again, boom, dry. Now here's the part that people complain about or have concern about with it being too big, and I get that, but again, you just hold it up like this, and then you're good to go, right? So no problems here. Going to come across. Whoop. All right. Sorry, guys, if I'm panting into the microphone. I'm just trying to kind of work as fast as I can, so I apologize. And this thing can obviously hold way more water. I mean, it's huge, so that's to be expected. And we're done. So that was 1 minute and 20 seconds. So, man, why am I so winded? Anyways, 1 minute, 20 seconds for this towel. Again, it's probably the process that I use. I drape it over and pull it across. But let's go ahead and weigh it, and then we'll come and look at the car. Okay, we've got it in the bucket, sitting there. I'm just gonna push hold so we can actually see the number. 2602. So again, guys, just an insane amount of weight compared to the other ones. Again, the towel is huge. It absorbed a lot of water. That's what we're at. Now, the difference is, guys, this one, like if I had done an SUV, I could have kept going. The other ones, I probably couldn't. I would probably need to switch towels, or at least I would be leaving some more moisture behind. This one could have definitely gone more. I could definitely absorb a lot more water, so bringing that number up significantly higher. I'd probably say it's maybe 50% used up. Alrighty, guys, and here's the car after the Meaganought. No moisture across the whole hood. No moisture across the roof. Again, those spots were hit right off the bat. One swipe and it was all done, so good to go there. Back window's all good. Of course, that spot's dripping out, but again, that's not the fault of the towel. The back is all dry. Then I came down this side. Ooh, we got a little, nope, that's clouds. I thought that was streaks, that is clouds. So there you go, guys. No water there. Coming across, yeah, the drips through there, but the rest of the panels are all completely dry. Dry, dry, dry. Moving around to the other side. Dry. Dry, dry, dry. So, oh, there, got a couple streaks here. If you guys can see those. That's probably my fault, I just didn't hit it well enough there. But overall, things dry. And guys, that's to be expected, right? That towel is huge, so fair enough. Next up, I'm gonna get the car all wet again, and we'll move on to the rapid dry towel. Again, second largest in the bunch, right? But a completely different type of microfiber structure. Again, pretty flat weave. Now, a lot of people may be concerned with, is that gonna leave, if there's anything left on the paint, is that gonna scratch? Well, it's not gonna absorb probably as well as a twist loop would, where it can capture dirt inside because it's more of a flat surface. But that's really our own fault, right? If the car is washed properly, we shouldn't have to worry about that. So let's move on. Okay, guys, last but not least, here we go. We're gonna start the stopwatch, and here we go. So I'm gonna do the same kind of process here. Drape it across the whole thing, pull it over. Again, it's a little bit smaller than the other one, so it's not quite as easy for that, but still. Pull it down, same thing here. Pull it down. Good, completely dry. Let's go ahead and go over here. Now this thing is considerably lighter, like night and day lighter than the Meaganought, obviously. That thing is huge. Let's keep on going. So any one of these drying towels, guys, you're gonna wanna put it onto the panel and pull it downward kind of deal, just to dry everything up. Keep on going. Okay, I'm gonna flip the towel as needed to a drier spot. And another thing I want to note about these things, guys, is as I've been using them, is that if I'm working mobile, I can go out to a job, we're done. There you go. 1 minute, 27 seconds. Again, maybe my process here, not a big deal. Well, except I forgot the mirror, so we'll call it, I don't see the timing being any issue at all. All those towels are gonna get it done under 1:30, under 90 seconds. So that's all good. If you look at this thing, it is very saturated, right? Very, very saturated, but it definitely does a phenomenal job absorbing a ton of water, leaving a really great finish. Again, we're gonna weigh this out in a second, and not scratching. It's a really, really fantastic material. Again, when I first saw this thing, I thought no way was it gonna do what it just did. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and weigh this one out now. Turn on the scale. Again, make sure it's not sitting on anything so we get an accurate reading. There we go, 0 grams. Plop this in. Again, this one was the lightest, I believe, right off the bat. Get that to settle. There we go. 1222. Now let's go ahead and inspect the car. So because it's not as heavy, it doesn't fall into the cracks as much. So that's still wet, but when we look at all the panels that actually hit, roof completely dry. I don't see any streaks up here. I mean, again, I missed that little spot there, but not bad at all. The hood, one little streak right there, but that's pretty much it. Everything else is good. Door panels, again, we got the drips, but now the towel seemed pretty saturated here. We got some streaks here, but other than that, it actually did a phenomenal job, better than I was feeling like it was while I was working. Little streak there, not bad. Back end looking fantastic. Coming around this side, little streak there. Little streak here. Again, now we're starting to get in the sun, so that'll probably dry up here pretty quickly. But I wanted to do this in the morning so that I could get an accurate representation. There you go, a little streak here as well. But overall, I mean, yeah, let's check the roof over here. And yeah, no streaks, guys. That looks freaking phenomenal. So, good job. Alrighty, guys, so there was the test. Let's go ahead and talk about the numbers now and what they actually mean. So remember, we started off weighing these things out. Start off with number 1, the Dreadnought from Autofiber. This thing started off at 560 grams. After we absorbed all the water and dried the car off, it came to 1,408 grams. That is an increase of 848 grams. So that is 60% of the towel's weight is water. Now, what does that mean? That means it's a 251% increase from the original weight to the new weight, so holding water. Moving on to the Gauntlet from the Rag Company. This one started off at 624 grams, ended up at 1,400 grams. That's a 776 gram increase, or 55% of its weight now is of water, and that is a 224% increase. So strong contender there as well, did a fantastic job. The Meaganought, this one's a little bit different, right, guys, because it started off so heavy. It is not anywhere close to being saturated. I could do a lot more work. So it started off at 1,946 grams. We ended at 2,602 grams, which was an increase of 656 grams. So that's interesting though, because we dried off the car the same. It absorbed 656 grams, left everything really dry, but it absorbed less water. So I don't know if it was, because it was so big, it was also pushing some off. That actually kind of makes sense. Yeah, the leading edge probably pushed the water off. The rest of it, the towel being so big, dried the rest and left it absolutely perfect. So that makes sense. So percentages wise, we're not even gonna calculate that because it could hold so much more than it actually did. Now, as far as the rapid dry towel goes, this one's gonna be in the same class as those other two, right? It's saturated. We couldn't really do, I mean, we could do a little bit more, but like getting another car out of it, no way. But this one started off at 502 grams, the lightest of the bunch, even though it is significantly larger than those other two. At the end of it, we are at 1,222 grams, and that is an increase of 720 grams. Again, less than the other ones, but again, because it's bigger, I think it's pushing off and then absorbing behind it. That means that this one came to 58% of the weight currently is of water, and that is a 243% increase. So if we look at the numbers, guys, let's take the Meaganought out of it because we can't look at the percentages. In third place would be the Gauntlet, a 224% increase. Second place would be the Rapid Dry Towel with a 243% increase. And in first place would be the Dreadnought with a 251% increase. With that said, let's go ahead and try and rank some of these out now. Number 1, just to, again, does this actually make any difference? I don't know. But actually, yes, because in my experience, guys, when I use these, I use it while I'm out detailing. I'll leave it in the sun to dry out. Could be out for 3-4 hours. This thing's not gonna be completely dry. So let's see if we can wring out any water. Push it down, push it down. A little bit, but not much, right? It's holding, it's completely saturated, but it's holding all the water perfectly well. With that said, guys, like that towel's done for me for the day. It's not gonna dry out in the sun. Same goes for the Gauntlet from the Rag Company. Now this, I mean, it feels like, let's see here. it's absorbed all the water. It feels like, yeah, same couple drips, but nothing really. This one kind of feels like I could probably get a little bit more work done, but because half of it is plush and half of it is twist loop, it's gonna leave streaks behind. This one left the most amount of streaking behind, I would say, but I think that's because, again, the plush in the combination. Last but not least, the Rapid Dry Towel. And this is, guys, like I said, I ordered 2 of these. I've been using one. This one I've left because I wanted to make a video with it, brand new. This thing, I can dry a car. I can come back, finish that car. An hour later, this thing has dried up significantly. So let's see if we can get anything to wring out. I mean, no, it's not letting any water out. So basically what they were saying, their structure, it absorbs the water into the inside of the towel, leaving the outside a little bit drier. And I think that's why it dries so quickly as well, because it is a thinner material. As far as the weight goes of this, a lot of times we're talking about grams per square meter. Again, this towel was listed at 1100 GSM, or grams per square meter of weight. And that is a good indicator a lot of times. But basically this one is going to be 2 550s sewn together, right? Whereas the Rapid Dry Towel came in right around, I can't remember exactly off the top of my head, 450 to 500 GSM. Significantly larger than that towel. One layer, it's not sewn together, but still it's like twice the size. So it's a significantly lower GSM. But, and again, I talked to them, I do not know what the blend is. However, it does not scratch, it does a phenomenal job drying, and it dries really, really quickly so that you can actually use it again throughout the day. So I love that thing. Again, the Meaganought, still a phenomenal towel. Yes, I know it's expensive. Oh, my notes came off, but around 70 bucks for that thing. It's expensive, but as you can see, I could definitely get a lot more work done with that. But today's video was to talk about the Rapid Dry Towel. And guys, the bottom line is I'm absolutely blown away by this thing. I expected this when I saw the video. I saw, oh, dry in 90 seconds. Now, the 90-second mark, fair, but all of these did that, right? They all did the 90 seconds. However, with this thing, when I saw it and how flat the pile is, I was like, there's no way that's even gonna dry the car. There's no chance. The reason I bought this, it was on Black Friday sale. I was like, let me try it. It should be a good video for you guys, because I'm sure a lot of people have seen the Instagram ads and were wondering about it. And I have to say, I am absolutely pleasantly surprised, blown away by this thing. It incredibly exceeded my expectation levels, and I'm gonna be ordering more of these things. I absolutely love them. I think they do a phenomenal job. So these do have a surged edge on them, but it's very, very soft. Really cool color, right? The gray and blue looks super good. Again, the reason I like this one, it performed very, very similar to the Dreadnought, right? Very, very similar. The reason I do like this one is because it is larger. I'm able to droop it, just kind of lay it out over the hood and pull it across and dry the whole hood in one swipe. And then again, really for me, it did a phenomenal job. And the biggest thing is that it dries so quickly in the sun that I'm able to use it again throughout the day. So huge win for me on that one. I absolutely love it. I'll have all of these linked down in the description for you guys. So whichever one you like the best, you can get them there. But I do highly recommend trying out this guy here. It's a phenomenal towel. Did a really, really good job. So that's it for today's video, guys. I hope that video helps you. Please make sure to like the video, make sure you subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and we will see you on the next one.